Welcome to the Wealthy Life. Do you really need life insurance? Joining us today is insurance advisor Jacqueline Knoblauch to explain who needs insurance and why. Jacqueline, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Let's dive in. Who needs insurance?
Basically anyone who has dependents. So quite often young families and they have young children or the dependent spouse. A loss to their income ability means that we need insurance to help offset that. But actually quite often lately, I'm finding people who are helping their parents or grandparents, and if they're now gone and unable to help, maybe it wasn't costing them anything and now they have to have an extra expense added to their financial plan because they need that help. So it's not just young children and spouses, but also thinking about parents and grandparents as well.
Right, because if you have dependents and you're the primary income earner or even just a contributor to the income that the family or your dependents wouldn't be able to get by without that income, you want to make sure there's money there to cover that. But I never thought about the aging parents. So if I'm taking care of my mom and I'm gone, who else is going to do it? My mom is then going to have to pay to hire someone to take on that role.
Exactly.
Now, insurance, though, is overwhelming. There's so many different types. Can you walk us through the different types?
In general, in my area, there's basically 4 types. So the first and most common is a life insurance. So something happens to you, you pass away, a life insurance policy will pay out to your beneficiary.
Okay, life insurance, but to cash in, you need to die.
Yes, so not ideal.
Okay.
Second would be what we call critical illness insurance. So that is if you are diagnosed with a serious health change. So you've been diagnosed with a heart attack or life-threatening cancer. It will pay out a lump sum benefit to you, ideally to help you get better in health and pay off any new expenses that have come up because of your diagnosis.
Okay, and that I could see actually coming in quite handy because often when people are diagnosed, they maybe take time off work. And that's when their money is tight. They need the funding then while they're still alive. It doesn't help them if they wait till they're gone.
No, exactly.
So a critical illness policy will pay out that cash when you need it.
Yes.
Okay, that's 2. What's the third one?
Third is disability insurance. So that one, it doesn't necessarily depend on what you've been diagnosed with, but it's the fact that you're no longer able to generate income. So you were able to work, you've been working steadily, and now you've been unfortunately diagnosed with a life-threatening cancer, and now you have months, maybe years of being unable to work. So disability insurance will be able to offset often up to 70% of your income with now a benefit payable from the insurance company.
Which again, you're going to benefit from while you're still alive in that tough period where otherwise you wouldn't have any income coming in.
Exactly.
And the fourth?
The fourth is actually often overlooked, but that's health and dental insurance. So I work with a lot of business owners and quite often they don't have their own group benefits plan. So any out-of-pocket expense for massage therapy, eyeglasses, medication is now directly out of pocket, which is fine if it's just a little something that comes up. But as you get older and often more prescriptions are prescribed to you and those become more and more expensive, any attempt to get a coverage at that time usually excludes the prescriptions you're already on. So in that case, it's more of a, I don't need it now, but just in case scenario down the road.
Okay, so people can buy that themselves? Is that what you're saying?
It is. Yeah.
So you don't have to have an employer plan. You can just go and set yourself up.
Exactly.
Is it usually expensive, affordable?
Honestly, the younger you are when you start so that you don't have any exclusions, the better. And it is quite affordable. So a lot of the retired individuals that I work with, as their group benefit plans ends with work, they're quite common to get their own plan now going into retirement.
Well, let's dig a little deeper into the life insurance side of things because sometimes people feel like they're overinsured and they're paying out all these premiums that they're not going to benefit from. It's just protecting everyone else. What are the main types of life insurance available and why should one pick one over the other?
So from a risk management needs, it's usually term insurance, which is you pay your premium, it's the lowest cost option available, you have a set benefit, and it's for a set term. So quite often a term 20, for example, you pay the same premium for the same coverage every year for 20 years, and then at 20 years, depending on your contract, you have some options from them.
So that might be good if you've got kids at home that are maybe 10 or 15 years old, or maybe you've got 20 years left on your mortgage or 20 years before retirement, and maybe you don't need insurance after that.
Exactly.
So it's going to be the cheapest, but that's it.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly, yeah, that's right.
What's
And
the other type?
the other type, there's two versions, but it's primarily a cash value life insurance. So those ones are a insurance contract as a base, and then there's some variations, but there's an ability to generate what we term cash value through an investment type of option with a contract, and those are different. So the premiums usually start much higher. They do grow over time. So if your plan really is to look at how to transfer a business or how to transfer wealth to my family, you've got excess capital available, then we look at those because every year the death benefit of the contract actually increases, and there's some tax benefits to that.
Okay, so that type of investment, a little bit more expensive, but has a lot of other perks, including leaving a larger legacy behind, or like you said, covering for business owners, which may be handy.
Yes.
Do you have one final tip you can share with our viewers today?
It would really be just to assess the situation. So unfortunately, I think our industry has made it really challenging for people to know what to look at. Where do you turn? What questions do you ask? How do you trust the advice that you're getting? And so it would really be to start with looking at your own financial situation. And there's some help on the internet to just do some basic life insurance calculators. And then if you don't have an advisor, find one. And if you do, ask them, please run an insurance analysis for me. I'm just curious what that looks like for me today.
Jacqueline, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.